All right, welcome back everyone. Today we're doing a little bit of a shootout between three top performing entry-level polishers. Now today's video is not sponsored by Maxshine, but however, I would like to give them a special thank you. They actually had me up to their offices and they did a Detailers After Dark special with me. So I'm gonna link that video either down below or up here somewhere. Go check out that video. Make sure you guys give them a follow. Great company. Again, that's the polishers that I use are all Maxshine, best value you get amazing performance at a way less price than some of the other competitors. It's my go-to polisher, so I actually use the M15 Pro if you're interested. I will put a link down below as well as a special thank you from Maxshine. Anybody that uses the link down below and uses code I'mJoshV15 gets 15% off, so go check it out. All right guys, now we're gonna jump into this. I have three here. One of them is the Maxshine. It's called the Maxshine M8S. Now, we also put together a special bundle for this thing. You get the polisher, backing plate, three different polishing pads, you know, like a finishing, polishing, and a compounding pad, and two towels for 89 bucks, I think. I believe that's what it is, $89.99. It's basically the price of the polisher alone, but they're also throwing in the extra pads and the towels. So you get that, plus the 15% off on my, for using my link. I'll link all that information again down below. It comes like 76 bucks. You get free shipping over 75 bucks. So it's an absolute incredible value. Now with that said, we are gonna do an honest review here between these three, find out which one the best value is. Now with that coupon, I'm assuming this is gonna be the best value, but if it doesn't perform very well, then disregard, right? So we'll take a look at the Maxshine M8S. Next, we're going to be looking at one of the staples of the detailing industry, guys. Before all these long throw polishers came about, like the 15mm and 21mm throws, this was a staple in every detailer's arsenal. This is the PorterCable 7424 XP. Whoa, almost lost it. Random orbit. All of these are going to be a dual action polishers. I'll explain that in a minute. So there's that one. And last but not least, the Bauer from Harbor Freight. Same deal, dual action polisher. Good value on this one as well. So let's go ahead and pop these open. We're going to open them up one by one. Then I have a panel here, if you can see it. A banged up door. I picked that up from one of my local body shops I work with called AJ USA here in San Diego. If you guys are in San Diego and need body work or mechanical work done, they do both. They're a certified Tesla repair center. Fantastic guys. So you can ask for Jesse or Craig over there. Both guys are fantastic. Back to it. Let's go ahead and open up each of these polishers. We'll kind of compare them side by side. We'll break down everything about them, and then we'll do a side-by-side test on the panel and see what we find. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get started here with the Bauer from Harbor Freight. Now I have some notes here. It is $79.99 for this polisher. It's an 8mm throw. Again, I'll explain that once I open it up. 2,000 to 6,400 oscillations per minute. Now, usually things are rated in RPM. That's probably what you're more familiar with. RPM is rotations per minute. These, because they're dual action, and again, I'll explain that in a second, they rate them by oscillations per minute. So keep that in mind. It also has a 6-speed variable control, and it has a lock on the side where you can lock it into place so you don't have to continually hold the trigger. You can lock it into place and get to work. So that is that one. Let's go ahead and open it up, see what it comes with. All right, so we got owner's manual. We have the polisher itself in a bag with a hook and loop backing plate, which is always nice. That means you can interchange pads very easily. Now, it does seem to spin freely very well, which is nice. Now, let's talk 8mm throw. So basically what that is as you can see, it's spinning freely, no throw, right? It's not moving anywhere. The geared portion of it, it moves 8mm side to side. So what that does, guys, is when you turn this thing on, it gears it and it starts doing that and it starts spinning this way. So basically you're mimicking hand movement, right? The other benefit to this is a lot of people are scared to polish their cars because they're worried that they're going to damage their paint. with this type of polisher, same as all of these, dual action polishers. So when you're using this thing, guys, the thing that creates heat is the amount of spin it gets, right? So it's spinning, 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 and that generates a lot of heat. And if that heat sits on the paint for too long, it can burn through the paint and you potentially need to repaint your car. It can actually rub all the way through the paint. Now, with a dual action polisher, right, it's spinning and oscillating when you have it on. And if you push too hard or down on a spot too hard or you're on an edge, the spinning part bogs. And all it does is do the little oscillation. So it's just doing this instead of spinning and creating all that heat. Way, 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 way safer than a rotary. This is how you get perfect hologram-free, swirl-free finishes. This dual action polishers are ideal. Now, 8mm, the new things are 15mm, meaning that the amount of oscillation is bigger. 15mm, and then a 21mm is even bigger. Those typically do corrections a little bit faster. However, a lot of the 21mm will bog down on curved surfaces, meaning you're not getting all the spin, meaning you're not getting your correction. My personal favorite is a 15mm throw. I'll link that down in the description for you guys as well. They're more expensive, they're more professional grade. This is your entry level and they're fantastic. So with that said, guys, let's take a couple of, actually let's see what else is in the box. All right, so we have a handle and a couple of tools to install the handle. Now, handles are a preference thing. Personally, I don't like it. I just like to work it, put my hand right on this little grip here and work it that way. If it's more comfortable for you, you can either put it in the right side or the left side. It just screws right in. And then you can operate it holding it like this. So up to you, whatever's more comfortable for you. I never use that, but again, up to you. Here is the machine itself. We have the on-off switch, on, off, on, off. So it does hold in place, right? It's on. And you push it down to turn it off. You adjust your speed here. You go from 1 to 6. And again, that's adjusting the oscillations per minute. Again, this one was 2,000 to 6,400, I believe. So that is it, guys. Let's move this stuff to the side. We're gonna take a weight measurement of it, whole thing, including the cable. Let's turn this guy on. Make sure it's set to 0, okay? And here we go. So we are at 4 pounds, 12.7 ounces. 4 pounds, 12.7 ounces. Now, why is that important? Guys, when you're working on a flat surface, it's not, right? You're not carrying the weight. But if you're working on a side panel, eventually, if you're not used to this, it gets a little bit tiring. Keep that in mind. Okay, overall dimensions. Let me grab a tape measure. Okay, overall dimensions for the body itself, just basically 12.5 inches. Width-wise, at the widest point is about 3.5 inches, and then the backing plate is a 6-inch backing plate. So that's number one. That's the Bauer from Harbor Freight. Next one up, let's go ahead and look at the PorterCable 7424XP. One last thing, guys, for this one, they rate it by amps. They rate it at 5.7 amps. Let's see here, is there a watts? No, just let's go ahead and move over to the PorterCable 7424, rated at 4.5 amps. I don't know if they have any watt rating on it. Again, this one is 2,500 to 6,800 OPM. Now, guys, originally they had, way back in the day, they had the PorterCable 7424. The XP, I believe, stands for extra power because it was a more powerful machine. So if you see a 7424 for cheaper, it's because it is not as powerful. So make sure you look for that XP. All right, here we go. Now, this machine was the most expensive of the three. Also comes with a side handle, same like the Bauer did. Now, here is the unit itself. So I like the design of this one a little better than the Bauer. I like that the power for it on off is right on the front. Again, it stays in place. I like that. I like that this is right on the back, nice and easy to access, compared to the Bauer, which the power is onto the side. And this is technically in the same spot, but it's angled down as opposed to angled up. It's just not, personally, for my preference, I used to use this a lot. So I'm a little biased towards the PorterCable, so keep that in mind for whatever that means. Now, if you can listen, or actually my microphone's here, sorry. So this one just slides, there's no tactical feel to it. On the PorterCable, it clicks, you can kind of feel it, which is nice. So as you get used to using these things, guys, you have it on, you're working, you can kind of, you get a feel to it, you know where you're at, versus that one gives you no tactical feedback, so you're just kind of lost without looking at it. So that is it. Again, for me personally, if I'm going to work on this thing, having it to the side makes sense because that's where my hand's gonna go. But for me, it's just, I'm holding it this way, and having it on the back here like the PorterCable does is nicer. Pushing this up also feels a little bit harder than the PorterCable just goes super easy, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, the PorterCable, I believe I already told you, is the most expensive, and it only comes with one pad, and the pad has a backing plate on it. Not interchangeable, does not have the hook and loop backing plate like the Bauer does. So, although this thing is great, you guys are gonna have to spend more money getting a backing plate and all that kind of stuff to really make this work the same as these other ones that already have the backing plates and everything on them. Now, here is how these things work, at least this one doesn't have it on there so you can see. So we have a counterweight there. So as the spindle spins freely, and as it does that, the counterweight goes around, and you can see it's offset. That's what creates your oscillation. So there you go. I'm not going to be using this pad on this. We're going to be using the same pad across the board. So I'll change out the backing plates as needed so that I can use this one efficiently to represent the same across the board on the panel when we test it. Let's get a weight on this one. Now again, we don't have a backing plate on here. Since it doesn't have a backing plate, we will have to add a little bit of weight to the total. But let's go ahead and see what this one weighs as is. Wow, so this one is coming in at 5 pounds 4 ounces with no backing plate. So it is considerably heavier than the Bauer is, which surprises me. I had heard that this was heavy. That's not heavy. This is heavier. Interesting. Let's get dimensions wise. You can see it is a little bit shorter. The PorterCable is shorter, a little bit fatter. And again, I still run this thing without the handle on it. I just hold it and go. So, all right, next up is the Maxshine. Again, guys, this comes in a kit, $89. The polisher itself is $89. Comes in a kit with all the other stuff, so it's added value. Use code I'mJoshV15 with the link down below. Gets you another 15% off. So this is the cheapest option using those codes. Let's go ahead and open it up. So right off the bat, a little nicer presentation than the other ones. You have a nice little bag. Open that up, let's see what's inside. So instead of a handle on the side, this one you actually get a U-grip, so you can use that if you want. Again, I don't, but it's here. Then we have a backing plate, a vented backing plate, which is nice. So the Bauer is not vented, and basically what that does is as you're using it, right, it creates heat. So having it vented helps release some of the heat and keeps your panel cooler because the heat is passing through and going away from the polisher. All right, next we have a couple of tools. So you can install that piece. We have some, oh gosh, bushings, I guess. I can't remember what these are called, but you get extra pieces if you need them. Over time, guys, with all polishers, as you're using them, compound gets in the air, little fine particulates of compound and polish. It clogs them up eventually. Long time down the road, but eventually. So you can, that's nice they give that to you to be able to clean it up. So you got a warranty card from Maxshine, and you have an owner's manual here. That is it for the bag. Let's move on to the polisher itself. Let's go ahead and pull this guy out. Alrighty, so very similar look to really to both of them, but I mean, it's funny, it's the exact mesh of those two polishers is what this one is. So right here, guys, you have a switch right on the side. Again, I prefer it to be on the back, but this one feels easier to push than the Bauer did. Much, much easier, actually. So I like that. The thing I don't like about this is that the adjustment is not only on the back, but down under. So I'm not a fan of that. Again, I prefer it right there, nice and easy to get to. Now, the benefit of it though, although it is on the back, as you can hear, there is tactical feedback. So again, goes from 1 up to 6. Now this one is a 900 watt motor. They're not rated by amps, they're rated by watts, which 900 watts is pretty good. Like the professional ones are usually 1,000 watts, so 900 is fantastic. Same like all the other ones, it's an 8mm throw. So everything is gonna be the same with that. Overall size, again, I'll plop you guys down. I'll set all these up so you guys can see side by side. But for weight, again, this does not have the backing plate on it, but we're gonna go ahead and weigh it anyway. And we are at 5 pounds, 1.8 ounces. So lighter than the PorterCable, heavier than the Bauer. Now, for the backing plate, it's very simple. You just take off this little pin, or not pin, sorry, but cover to that little piece. There you go. Insert it. We can get it started. Maybe it might just spin on me. Yeah, it's just gonna spin on me. So what you do is you take the little wrench that they give you, okay? Set it onto that little spindle there so that it's gonna hold it in place. Then, then spin the backing plate on. This is how all of them are gonna be going on and off. This is very standard. So the backing plate's on, guys. Now looking at the U-handle. This can be put on, so you just take off these little black pieces and you thread this over and you have a handle like so. It's nice, you can adjust it a little bit as well and hold it that way. But again, for me, I just palm the head of it, hold in the back and get to work. This has a very, very nice tactical gripped feel on the head of it. Interesting, it's a different material here than here and here. This is the most grippy, so I like that. The PorterCable is pretty much the same material all the way through, just different color. And the Bauer, the sides and the head of it are the same filling material. However, this little strip in the back here, it has a nice grippy tactical feel. So let's go ahead and put these up side by side so you guys can see the overall difference. Okay guys, so here they are side by side. So as you can see, the Bauer is the tallest of them all, also the skinniest. Then we have the PorterCable, which is the shortest, I believe. Move that, yeah. The Maxshine is just slightly longer than it, about the same girth of the body, and maybe slightly slimmer on the Maxshine. Now on top of that, guys, as you can see, the Maxshine comes with a 5-inch backing plate versus the Bauer that comes with a 6-inch backing plate. Now for me, typically when the pad is smaller, it's giving more power to that pad. It's not getting dispersed over a whole larger pad. So even though you're getting less coverage, you're getting more power, more correcting ability with that. So I prefer the smaller pad. 5 inch is the way to go there. Even on my M15 Pro, I run a 5-inch pad. It's just what I prefer. So the 6-inch pad's a little bit overkill, a little bit too big for the machine personally. So with that Bauer, you would want to adjust that to a smaller one if you want to get more power out of it. Anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on now. I'm gonna flip you around. I have this panel, the one I told you about, and what I did was I wet sanded 1000 grit across the top. So I have this nice little inspection light from Maxshine as well. The tactile feel of this thing is amazing. So let's go ahead and fire it on. And as you can see, guys, that paint is pretty scratched up and hammered. So down there you can see some pretty good, decent clarity. Obviously that's pretty bad too, but then you come up here and you can't even see, you know, it's really bad. So it's all scratched up. We're gonna tape it off into 3 sections and we will test out these 3 polishers as is. I will be testing out the Bauer with the 6-inch backing plate. The PorterCable, I'll be using the same pad, or sorry, the backing plate from the Maxshine. So these two will have a 5-inch backing plate, this one will have a 6, and we'll see the correcting ability of them. All right, guys, so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be running each polisher for 1 minute. I'm gonna work the section up and down in crosshatch patterns, trying to get the best finish I can, leaving it 1 minute. I'm gonna be applying the same amount of pressure between each of them, and the polish that we're gonna be using is Maxshine's All-in-One. Now this is a great product. So you've seen my videos in the past, you know that I like 3D speed. This is a very similar product to that. It's a compound slash polish that also has protection in it. How is it a compound slash polish? Well, typically some compounds do not break down, they stay gritty. These ones break down and then turn into a finer solution, and that it acts as a polish, all while adding some protection. So fantastic product from Maxshine. Here's the all-in-one polish. So I'll link this down below for you guys as well. I'll also go ahead and link 3D Speed. That's been my go-to for years. I was just up at Maxshine, they gave me this, I tested it out, it works great. So since they're doing that 15% off deal, I figured I'd give you a Maxshine product. But 3D Speed is fantastic as well. I'll link that down below for you guys. Guys, for this test, all of the polishers will be using the same pads. So here they are. These are the Maxshine ones. These come with the polisher from Maxshine in that kit. So we have a cutting pad, a polishing pad, and a finishing pad. So since we're using an all-in-one product, this is where we try and go one step, easy, polish and protect. We're gonna go with the polishing pad and see what kind of results we get. Again, you can adjust that. You can get stronger, either stronger compounds, stronger pads to get different finishes. For this, we're just gonna be testing it with this and the all-in-one across the board to see what kind of result we get. All right, guys, so as I said, I'm using the same pad across the board. So for this first pass, I'm gonna saturate the pad a little bit. This is basically called priming the pad, and you wanna get the polish or compound or whatever it is that you're using throughout the pores of the pad. So basically what I'll do is I'll just put my drops on there, spread it around a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now now obviously it's thicker there, but we have coverage over the whole thing. I'll add a little bit more. This polish, all-in-one polish, smells super good too. All right, guys, so we're ready. I'm gonna put it on 1, spread the product around, and then we'll bump it up to 6, and then we'll know where we're at. Here we go. All righty, we are all spread out and ready to roll. I'm gonna bump it up to 6. All right, so we're at 6 now. I'm gonna put the timer on. Okay. So I'll start it and then fire this thing on, so we'll do what we can. I'm gonna put it right to the side here. Here we go. We're gonna wipe this out. Now we did not pull up some of the deeper scratches. Again, we can adjust it and go to a deeper cutting pad. But for these purposes, I just want to see the difference between each one. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah, we still have a lot of contamination in there. We're now much better than this side, but there's still a ton. So let's just keep going. We'll go to the next step. Alrighty guys, so this polisher felt incredibly balanced. Not a lot of vibration while I was using it. Again, I only used it for a minute, so that's, you know, over time, if you're doing a full correction with it, you might get a little bit of vibration and stuff, but it felt very, very balanced. Sounded really good. It wasn't super high pitched or anything. It just sounded good and felt really good. So I'm very happy so far with how this polisher is performing. Now let's go ahead and take this whole deal, the same exact thing. We're gonna plop this down onto the PorterCable now. So same deal. Put it there, put this on, good to go. All right guys, so same deal here. We're gonna run this 1 minute. Now the pad is already saturated, so I'm just gonna add 3 drops. Okay, we're good to go there. Gonna take this down to number 1, and we're gonna spread out the product. All right guys, we're all spread out now. I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up to 6. We're gonna go ahead and get the timer ready again, and here we go. 1 minute starting now. Alrighty, and I just realized that I did it on the wrong side. So we're gonna go ahead and cross this out. This is the 7424, and this one will be the Bauer from Harbor Freight. My mistake, sorry, apologize. All right, let's go ahead and wipe this guy out. And we'll look at those in a second. Last but not least, we're gonna be using the Harbor Freight Bauer polisher. Now again, this is a 5-inch pad on a 6-inch backing plate, so I'm definitely hanging over, okay? But I'm doing that, it's even all the way across. I'm doing that so we get a fair representation of what this polisher does with the exact same pads as the other ones. So, once again, we'll plug this unit in, okay? We're gonna add, again, 3 drops of polish, our all-in-one polish from Maxshine. And with the unit on 1, we're gonna go ahead and spread it around. Okay, we're spread around. First things first, that sounded not great to me. Now it does seem like there's a delayed start to it, which is fine. That's not an issue at all. Some polishers are built that way. It just sounded high-pitched, way weaker than the other ones, and this head's loose, which probably tighten it down or something, but whatever. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and bump it all the way up to 6. We're gonna run it again for 1 minute, and here we go. All right, guys, so there's 1 minute with the Bauer from Harbor Freight. Now, right off the bat, guys, my hands are tingly already. So vibration-wise, the Harbor Freight Bauer definitely had the most vibration. Now, when I was using it and turned it all the way up to 6, it seemed really, really powerful, but that vibration is really, really bad. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and look at our results. Now, in this bad lighting, it looks okay. It actually looks pretty glossy and good. However, let's get the inspection light on it. And you can see there's still, now the clarity is much, much better than it was, but you can still see there's plenty of stuff in it. Now we'll move over to the Bauer from Harbor Freight. In the middle section, pretty similar. I would say the Maxshine won out a little bit. Excuse me, this is the 7424 XP in the middle. Pretty similar results. I'd say the Maxshine did a little bit better, but I mean, so marginal that it's barely even noticeable. And the Bauer from Harbor Freight, really, really similar. Yeah, I would say the Maxshine definitely did the best. So let's go ahead and actually switch over to a more powerful, let's go ahead and use the Maxshine. Again, guys, they gave me, when I went up there, they gave me everything. So let's use X-Out cutting compound. Now I have never used this in the past. So I don't know how aggressive this is, if it's going to be leaving behind any hazing because it's so aggressive or whatever else. But let's do this, see if we can actually correct this and get this looking good. Again, we're gonna do the same process now between each of the polishers using this, and we're gonna switch our pad to the cutting pad. So we're going to the cutting pad. Now, typically when you're polishing, you start with the most, well, you find your line, right? You wanna use the least aggressive method to get the desired result that you want. However, typically you start compound, then polish, and then seal. So the fact that I started with an all-in-one polish that has protectant in it first, now I'm going to a compound, that's not the way you do it. Not the way you do it at all. However, because I'm just testing this out, that's why I'm kind of going all over the place. So for this one though, we are going to start, because I have it plugged in, we're gonna start with the Harbor Freight. Again, I'm gonna line this guy up on here. Okay, we're good there. Now we're gonna get the X-Out cutting compound. Same deal, guys, we're gonna saturate the pad first. I'm gonna saturate it a little bit more. I feel like, I don't know if I saturated that first panel enough the first time, so we're gonna go ahead and saturate this quite a bit. This smells good as well. Not as good as the all-in-one polish, but smells good. Okay, we're gonna start off, again, number 1, spread the product around. I'm not gonna zoom you guys in on each one. We're just gonna go ahead and do this and we'll take a look at the end when I do it, when I'm all done. So here we go, Bauer from Harbor Freight. Starting out number 1, then we'll bump it up, run it for 1 minute. Here we go. All right, there's our 60 seconds. with the Bauer from Harbor Freight. So guys, just holding this, so it smelt a little bit like there was a little bit of burn to it. Again, that's brand new, so it could, you know, that's fine. But this back piece, there's metal, there's plastic to metal to plastic again. Just holding it where that metal is, it's hot. I only ran this for 60 seconds. Shouldn't be that hot. Let's go ahead and switch over to the 7424 PorterCable because it's set up with the backing pad already. So let's go ahead and hook that up. And here we go. "60 seconds. Go ahead and wipe that one out. All right, now let me go ahead and switch the backing plate from the 7424 back over to the Maxshine. All right, guys, so we are set up now with the Maxshine. We're gonna grab the X out. We're gonna add 3 drops again. Oh, geez. Okay, 3 fresh drops. Go for 1 minute, and here we go. Oh, sorry, and here we go. All right, so there we are, guys, 60 seconds across the board. Let's go ahead and wipe this one out. And then we can get in here and inspect these guys. I'm gonna do a quick wipe with a paint prep item that'll remove any sort of glaze or anything hiding any imperfections. There's gonna be imperfections, don't get me wrong. We didn't run that very long. Just make sure they're dry and good to go. All right, let's inspect. Let me get you guys off the tripod. Okay guys, so again, from here, really great reflection, looks really good. Let's get it with an inspection light and really test it out. Look at it now. So there's the most corrected area with the Maxshine. It looks pretty good. Obviously there's still scratches in there, but I didn't work that panel that much and probably could have gone a little more aggressive. So just keep that in mind, but all of these panels are performed the same way. So now we're gonna move to the PorterCable 7424 XP section. And definitely not as much correction there, which kind of makes sense. It was the least powerful motor compared to the other ones. Least powerful motor, so makes sense. However, the PorterCable ran extremely efficiently, very, very smooth. So did the Maxshine, very, very smooth. Now the Harbor Freight is more powerful, has a more powerful motor than the 7424. However, it ran pretty, it was the loudest just from kind of using it. It seemed the loudest. And it seemed to be the most vibration. So let's go ahead and check out the results on that one though. And decent, let's see here. Definitely better than the 7424, which makes sense, you know, more power. So we definitely got more clarity there. The deeper scratches are still there, but it's definitely looks to go darker gloss black. So let's try and compare that one to the Maxshine. And now certain spots of the Maxshine don't look as good. This section looks it looks the best. Yeah, guys, I'd have to say the Maxshine definitely got the best result, which makes sense to me. All right, guys, so really quickly, I just want to do one last representation for you guys. Now, I took the tape off so you can see what the paint was originally before we did this. So again, Maxshine. You can see, I mean, obviously it's not perfectly clear, but you can see the light pretty well. Move over to the 7424 XP from PorterCable, pretty distorted the light. And now over to the Harbor Freight. You can see the light pretty well as well. It's not quite as good as the Maxshine, I would say. At least parts of it. But still, Harbor Freight number 2, PorterCable number 3, Maxshine is the winner here, guys. Now, again, the reason I'm doing this test is to give you guys good options for a starter polisher so that you can get into polishing your car. It's great for applying wax, great for polishing, compounding, all that kind of good stuff. I wanted to give you guys a nice, inexpensive way to get started, something that you don't have to be scared of because they're dual action polishers. Don't worry about it. You can literally leave it on the paint. It's not gonna burn through unless you get crazy with it. Let's see here. Also, if you already have a polisher, because of the price point on these things, great to have as a backup. You never know if your polisher, you know, like if something goes wrong with you, if your power cord eventually wears through or whatever else, and you need a backup, you need to keep working, you need to keep making money, pick up one of these guys just so you have it in your arsenal. Easy enough to do. Again, cheap. I feel weird about the whole thing because Maxshine did win, and this video is not sponsored or anything like that. I'm not getting paid. However, they are offering that 15% discount on their site because I did that whole Detailers After Dark program with them. So incredible value. It did win in a fair, honest comparison. It was the most powerful motor, so it makes sense. I would say that the Maxshine was the most powerful, did the best job, and ran really, really clean and really, really efficient. The 7424 XP from PorterCable ran very, very efficient. It felt great, very smooth. It was the lowest powered motor. So now again, if you have that one, you're gonna have to work the panel a little bit longer. You'll get the results. It's just the other one's gonna work a little bit faster because it's more powerful. And then as far as the Harbor Freight goes, power, it's in between the two. But to be perfectly honest, didn't feel as balanced. It had a lot of vibration to it. So even after running it for only 1 minute, my fingers felt a little tingle in them. So imagine doing a whole car, you're probably gonna get some numb fingers. Again, they're cheap. If you're in a pinch, it's easy enough to go out and buy one. They're at the stores, you know, so that part's great. Now again, guys, as far as design goes and functional, like where the buttons and everything are, I prefer the PorterCable. I like that the switch is right on the back. It's really easy to switch on. The dial for your power is in a better place for me. I personally like that better. Now the Maxshine for the dial is, in my opinion, is in the worst place out of the three. But the on and off switch is in the same place as the Bauer from Harbor Freight, except the Maxshine is much easier to turn on. The switch on the Harbor Freight one is pretty hard to turn on. So pros and cons to all of them, but again, guys, for this video, the winner is the Maxshine, and luckily we do have that 15% off code. So check out the links below, guys. Please make sure you like the video. It helps me, helps other people find the channel, helps me out tremendously. Please make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications, and we'll see you guys on the next one.